Hi guys, today's topic about CSF rhinorrhea or CSF leak. Most commonly used classification is by etiology. By etiology, this is systemically we can approach the CSF rhinorrhea. There is three types of CSF leak. One is congenital, second one is spontaneous or you can say idiopathic, and third one is post-traumatic. The congenital CSF leak associated with encephalocele or meningoencephalocele. There is brain tissue associated with encephalocele is invariably non-functioning and you can remove during the endoscopic repair or open repair. Third common is spontaneous or second is spontaneous or you can say idiopathic. Middle age CSF leak. It is common in obese middle-aged women with high BMI because it's associated with high intracranial pressure. So it is also sometimes related with benign intracranial hypertension. So this is second spontaneous idiopathic leak. The most common is post-traumatic. This is mostly associated with the head trauma or associated with iatrogenic sinus surgery or skull base surgery. The 2% head injuries having CSF leak or 12 to 30% skull base injury having the CSF leak. The most common of these is the post-traumatic CSF leak, mainly associated with head trauma. The spontaneous leak are most likely to recur and the success rate of endoscopic closure are worse than for other etiologies. Recurrence rate about 20 to 40% in idiopathic or spontaneous leak compared to 2% which are other like trauma or congenital. So in congenital trauma its recurrence rate is less than 2%. What in spontaneous or idiopathic CSF leak is recurrence rate about 20 to 40% because it is related to intracranial hypertension. The diagnosis clinically patient having history of clear fluid with salty taste without any rhinitis symptoms with posteriorly provoked on bending. Fluid test maybe you can do sugar test. Beta 2 transference is the confirmatory test and it is widely available. Beta trace protein not widely available, it is used in the UK only. Imaging. Now this is very important. The clear majority of CSF leak can be diagnosed using beta 2 transferrin testing and reformatting the ultra thin CT scan. So these two are more than sufficient most of the CSF leak. CT scan plain or with beta 2 transferring confirmation. Second, in case the situation where there is opaque sinus adjacent to the skull base defect on MRI scan should be performed to help diagnose if there is possibility of encephalocele or meningocele. MRI cysternography is performed if fine CT scan or beta 2 transferrin testing is negative. In that case, you can only have MRI cysternography or sometimes MRIs you can have in cases with CSF complications or CSF leak induced meningitis encephalocele. In that case, you have MRI cysternography or MRI plain. Now repair. The most of the CSF repair nowadays done with endoscopy. If there is large defect or communicating defect or large head trauma, then you have to do the open approach only. In general, free graft have been preferred in vascular graft for smaller defect less than 1 cm because technical ease of manipulation, obviation of potential for contraction with healing. So if on your endoscopy, if defect is less than 1 cm, you can repair with free grafts. Pedicle graft like Hadar flap is favored in closing larger defect more than 2 cm. If defect is larger, it is always better to use pedicle flaps. Now, on most of the cases, endoscopic repair is the treatment of choice. So this is basic about CSF Rhinolia. Thank you so much.